I think it's safe to say that everybody could use a little extra income nowadays. So today I'm going to show you how you can DIY and make some extra cash by making signs for customers. So without further ado, let's jump in. For this DIY, I took a 14-inch round. I actually found these at Hobby Lobby and they come in a pack of 3. And I am going to give this one good coat of some white paint. I'm also going to take this Mylar stencil that I made on my laser. These are also on my website. If you want a checkered stencil, you can find that there. I'm going to use my foam roller and roll on the paint. I'll lift my stencil up and readjust it to where I need to cover more of those checkers. And I'll just keep doing that until the entire thing has a checkered pattern on it. Now I cut out the word hello using my laser. I am going to add some white paint using my Posca paint pens. Now I wanted the sign to look a little bit more rustic and distressed. So I took this golden oak stain and I am going to stain the entire thing with that. I just wanted it to look a little bit more vintage and old. So I just gave it one good coat of the golden oak stain. Now I'm going to glue this cow down that I cut out with my laser, and also the word hello. I will glue that down sideways right next to the cow. And then I'll move on to making a bow with our Bowdabra. So adding our wire down first, adding this ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby, and just looping this through over and over and over again until I have the amount of loops that I want. I did 3 on each side and then a smaller loop in the middle. Then you're just going to lift up your wire, tie a double knot. I also grabbed this lamb's ear from Hobby Lobby and cut it down, glued that down to the side of my sign, glued my bow to the top of that lamb's ear, and then also grabbed these little flowers that also came from Hobby Lobby and hot glued those down to my lamb's ear. You can add a hanger on the back and make it a door hanger, and this turned out so cute. I think this is probably my favorite one out of all the DIYs today. I just love the way that it turned out. And if you can find customers who love farmhouse decor, they are going to love this one. For this DIY, I am going to take one of these large cow tags that I cut out with my laser. You can also find these on my website to purchase. The first thing I'm going to do is paint it with some white chalk paint, and I'm going to give that about 2 coats. Next, I wanted to have my cow tag have some cow spots on it. So I took some tape and taped it across the top and then started drawing some cow spots on my cow tag. I just went really anywhere in a random placement, did some squiggly lines. You don't have to do anything perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just tried to draw little squiggly lines and spots for the cow look. Once I've got them drawn on there, I'm just going to fill them in with some black paint. Now I wanted my piece to also have some shiplap lines on there, so I took this little ruler and used it as a guide to draw some lines with a pencil, and I just went all the way up until it met those cow spots. I'm going to take a baby wipe to kind of accentuate those lines. This is going to blend them out and make them look a little bit more faded. Now I'm going to distress my entire piece. The first step I am going to do is take some Waverly chalk paint in mineral, and on a sponge brush I'm just going to go around the entire thing and give it a good distressing. Now one other technique that I'm going to do is use a popsicle stick. I'm going to dab it on the side in the paint and then just run it over the entire piece. I feel like this looks really nice and gives it a good chippy look. I'm also going to do this in black as well. Now I'm going to take the words hello there that I also cut out from my laser. These will also be in my shop on my website, and I'm going to paint those in black. I'm going to use a guide that I made using my laser, and I'm just going to add all of my letters inside of there so everything is nice and perfectly straight. Now I am going to use a Bowdabra. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I'm not the best bow maker. So I had to go on Amazon and buy a Bowdabra to help me make bows, and it is such a game changer. I'm so happy with the way my bows have been turning out. So all you have to do is add your wire down there first, add your ribbon, and then just start looping your ribbon back and forth through the Bowdabra. Once you have as many loops as you want in there, then you can take that wire and pull it up and tie a knot, and you have yourself a cute little bow. I thought this was perfect. And then you're just going to fluff your bow all up and you're done. I'm going to glue down some of this little wheatgrass that I found at Hobby Lobby. And then I'll add my bow right on top, and that is it. That's all you got to do for this DIY. I think this turned out so beautiful. I love the farmhouse theme to it, and I just think it turned out so beautiful. This would be perfect for inside of a wreath or as a door hanger on its own, and you could definitely customize these for other people and make a profit off of them. For this DIY, I cut out 2 tag signs. The reason I cut out 2 is because the first one did not work very well for me. I accidentally cut it in the wrong spot. So I decided to cut out another one and layer the 2 on top of each other, and you'll never know that the back one has some pieces missing out of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is give them a good coat of white chalk paint. I'm using a foam roller for this. I felt like that was a whole lot easier than using a paintbrush. So I'm just going to paint one white. And then the second one, I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in celery. And I just give that one good coat as well. Now I'm also going to use these cutouts that I made from my laser. Again, any cutouts that I make will be on my website for purchase. I'm going to paint the rectangle black using my Posca paint pens, and then also using my Posca paint pens, I'm going to paint the word Howdy in white. And I did have to give the white a couple of coats for that. Now going back to my white tag, I'm going to make some cow spots. I'm just going to basically draw squiggly lines all over and try my best to make them look like cow spots. It's really easy to do, and I think it turns out really awesome. So I'm just going to fill the majority of this with those spots. You don't really have to do the right side too much, just because that is going to be covered up with the other tag. Now I took this outside and used my sander to rough it up a bit around the edges and through the middle. Now I'm going to take my Waverly Wax and Antique, and I am going to use that to give it a more rustic look. So I'm just going to take this on a baby wipe and wipe on that wax and get it all nice and brown and stained. Now on for my other tag, I'm going to glue down these little pieces that I cut out with my laser, just gluing that to the top and gluing the other one to the bottom. And then I'll also glue down that little rectangle. Now I'm going to use this little piece to align my letters, and I'm just going to add glue inside the middle of each of those letters and then add my letters right on top. Once those are all glued down, then you can take out that little middle piece. Now I'm going to glue down my top tag to my bottom one, just using some wood glue super glue. Now I'm going to make myself a bow, again using the Bowdabra. I'm just going to add some wire first, and then using this ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby. Now because this does have a wrong and right side, you do have to twist your ribbon as you go down so that the right side is going to be shown the entire time. And I'm going to do about 6 loops, 3 on each side, and then a small loop in the middle. I'm going to squish that down, bring up my wire and tie that together. I'm going to add some of this wheatgrass that I found at Hobby Lobby, just hot gluing that down and then gluing the bow right to the middle. And that's all you got to do for this DIY. I think this turned out super cute, really fun as a door hanger, especially if you love that farmhouse look. For this DIY, I cut out a 16-inch round using our laser machine. The first thing I'm going to do is paint it white, and I just did that using a foam roller. After I've got that painted, I'm also going to stain this bunny cutout. This is an 18-inch cutout. You can also find these on our website. I'm going to stain it with my Waverly Wax and Antique. I put way too much on there, so I took a paper towel and I am just removing all the excess wax from the piece. Now I have this word hello. I'm going to paint that with my Posca pens. If you're interested in Posca pens, I will link them down below. They are by far my favorite paint pens. I wanted my backing to have a shiplap look, so I'm taking this level that I got from the Dollar Tree and just using this as a guide to draw on all my lines. Now I'm taking some caramel paint and a foam brush, and I am going to use that to distress my piece. I'm just going over the entire circle, going all around it, and then I'll also go throughout the middle and distress each of those lines. You could also take your sander after you've done this to distress it even more. I also took that same foam brush and that same paint and used it to distress the bunny just to give it a little bit more dimension and to give it a little bit more interest. I'm going to glue the bunny down to my sign, and I love that the ears pop up over the top of the sign. Now using my Bowdabra to make myself a bow. This one doesn't have a right or wrong side, so I didn't need to worry about flipping the ribbon on each side that I did. So I could just loop my ribbon through over and over until I had about 7 loops, tied it together using that wire, and then I cut out some greenery that I got from Hobby Lobby, and then I am just going to glue that ribbon right down to the middle. And that is it for this one. I think it turned out so adorable. I also glued that hello on there as well, and that's all you got to do for it. I think this makes the perfect Easter door hanger. For this DIY, I'm going to grab this piece that I picked up from Walmart and this picture that I cut out using my laser. I'm going to start by painting that white and then using the technique with my little popsicle stick, just adding some paint to the side and then dragging it across my entire piece to do kind of an enameled, chippy look to it. Now, the nice thing about this project is you can just pick up supplies from Walmart. You can pick up signs and blanks that they have and use those to do up, refinish, and then sell those for a profit as well. So I am just going to rough this up, make it nice and chippy looking. I did that in black, and then I took some Waverly chalk paint in mineral and did a little distressing around the picture and then around the sign as well. Next, I'm going to take a tumbling tower piece from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to hot glue that to the back of my picture, and then I'll hot glue that to the middle of my sign. I'm going to grab some florals that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I just cut them all down and I am going to start gluing them inside of my picture. I'm just going to keep gluing them over and over until I have it nice and full and the way that I want it to look. And that is all you got to do for this. You could add a little word on the picture if you wanted and make it say something, but I decided to leave mine plain, and I think this is such a cute way to dress up those Walmart signs and sell them for a profit. And that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed these. Let me know which project was your favorite in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!